We have gathered once again in front of our high-definition televisions, I'm assuming, maybe a couple of computers out there as well, as we get going on a Thursday edition of Wake Up Wenatchee Valley, 19th day of January, 2023. I am Dan Kuntz. 32 degrees, clear skies. If you park outside, if you don't have a carport or a garage, you will be scraping your windshield this morning because it's cold. And we're in for a very quiet period of weather. Going to see some sunshine, low clouds and fog occasionally. Not this morning. It's a beautiful morning. It's going to be a gorgeous sunrise. But for the most part, weather pretty benign. All things considered, weak system comes in on Saturday. Going to put some snow in the mountain passes, but not a lot, and nothing really down here. So very quiet weather pattern for this time of the year and I'm all for that. It's been pretty interesting. For most of this month and most of the year so far, but Mother Nature is going to kind of give us a little break. For the foreseeable future, forecast details are on the way. We also have sports. We got a lot of news to get to, some fresh news stories that we didn't have for you during the evening news with Grant and Eric last night. A lot of news to get to there. Sports, we'll talk about the Seattle Kraken. We have a huge wrestling match broadcasting tonight on our Facebook page between the Sunnyside Grizzlies and the Wenatchee Panthers. We're looking forward to that. And at the back half of the program, yet another mini documentary from our friends at TVW. The series is called Field Report. And today you're going to get to know about the Washington Invasive Species Council. There's a lot of invasive species that are here that aren't supposed to be here. We're talking insects, we're talking plants, noxious weeds, that kind of deal. They're not supposed to be here, and when they come in and they get a toehold, they can play all kinds of havoc with the native plants and animals that are supposed to be here. We'll get to know those folks and the good work that they're doing to make sure that invasive species that have made their way to our area don't get any more than what they're already doing, and they're doing some pretty significant damage. That fascinating 15-minute film in the back half of the program. Let's get going. We have a lot to get to. It's a busy Thursday. Let's begin our tour, of course, with the Wenatchee Heights camera, sometimes affectionately known as the cross camera. Once again, we're giving East Wenatchee most of the attention. Still starting to see more and more snow beginning to dissipate and melt away as we get deeper and deeper into winter and closer to spring. Speaking of that, we now have 9 hours and 2 minutes of official daylight today. Officially, the sun will rise at 7:41. It'll set at 4:43. We're past the 9-hour mark. And the same thing that happened 2 days ago happened yesterday. Our high Wednesday was 33 degrees, and that was at 10:58 last night. Our low was 30 degrees, and that was at 11:59 last night. So we hit our high and our low with just a 3-degree differential within an hour of each other. Don't see that very often. Camera 2, I believe, is going to be Cougar Ridge. Looking over, yep, there is Cougar Ridge. You can see the traffic on the Otabashian Bridge and Old Station. As we take a look from Cougar Ridge, pointing due west, you can't quite see up the Upper Valley. In about a week or so, with the days getting longer, we'll have enough daylight. We can see a lot more than just what we have here. Number 1 Canyon camera, pointing directly to the east. There's the sun starting to get the job done over the East Wenatchee bench. You can see 5th Street. You can see the avenue. And that's about all you can see from that camera high up number 1 Canyon on the far west side of the Wenatchee Valley. And I believe the Omi Garden camera is going to give us that. Looks just beautiful. Look at that. Look at that peach salmon colored sunrise in the upper left-hand corner of your screen, and a rather large swath of the Stemilk complex, Kai's fiber, and those areas as well on the west side of the Columbia River. There is a serious 2-car accident on the east side of the Columbia River. It happened about an hour and 10 minutes ago, and that highway is closed at milepost 135. That is Turtle Rock, again, on the east side of the Columbia River between East Wenatchee and Orondo, right near Turtle Rock on milepost 135. That highway, Highway 297, is completely blocked as they continue to work on what we now understand is to be a very serious 2-car accident. We'll have more on that as the day progresses. One little bitty slide to show for you from the National Weather Service, and this is for you folks who plan on heading into the mountain passes on Saturday specifically. There's going to be some light snow on the Cascade Passes on Saturday. That includes Snoqualmie and includes Stevens, not so much on Blewett. Blewett's going to be in that shadow, but that's the one weak little system that's going to come through. It's going to have some fairly windy conditions, light snow, but consistent light snow. So it's going to snow most of the day in the mountain passes on Saturday, but it's not going to come down in buckets. It's just going to snow all day lightly. I wanted to give you a quick heads up on that so you know what's happening. before you make your plans on Saturday to head up into the Cascades. Apple Valley Honda is the sponsor from the National Weather Service. Get ready for some pretty boring weather, and I'm digging that. Sunshine today, as you noticed already with our PTZ cameras. It's clear out there, not a cloud to be had. As we're under the influence of high pressure, that's good. If we get high pressure with clear skies, it sticks around. We get high pressure this time of the year with cloudy skies, we stay cloudy. But we got sunshine today and a high of 38. No blanket tonight, so chilly, 25 for the overnight low. We do it again on Friday. Cooler because we're going to get pretty cold tonight, so it's going to take us a while to warm up on Friday, but still we'll take it. Sunshine, a high of 34 degrees. That weak system comes through Saturday. Little chance of snow, but only about a 30% chance of light snow. I don't think we're going to get much of anything on Saturday, but it will be cloudy with a high of 34 degrees. And then just like that, it comes right on out of here on Saturday night. By Sunday, we go right back to sunshine and a high of 37. So more sunshine than clouds today, tomorrow. Saturday, we get cloudy again. Lots of sunshine. Sunday, we cloud back up a little bit on Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday with temperatures just about where they should be. But this time of the year, it's 6 minutes after the hour. Grab a cup of coffee, come right back. We'll have your headlines. You're watching the Thursday edition of Wake Up Wenatchee Valley on the NCW Live channel.
Working with August Edge Real Estate, both sellers and buyers feel confident knowing they are in the hands of award-winning professionals. August Edge offers a 2% listing commission, which includes above-standard service and technology.
We offer high-tech 3D imagery, drone photos, local North Central Washington TV ads, and impressive smart flyer installed at your listing. The August Edge website also hosts your home with an interactive featured listing page.
August Edge is professional, personable, and preferable.
Beautiful morning, clear skies. We just dropped a couple. We're at 30 degrees. We'll be in the upper 30s with bountiful sunshine. A lot of sunshine on Friday. A little bit of a system on Saturday. Sunshine back on Sunday. It's 8 minutes after the hour. A Wenatchee man was sentenced Wednesday to 11 years in prison for sexually molesting 2 children, one locally and one in Okanogan County. 33-year-old Devin Scott McGrady has been in jail for almost a year now. McGrady pled guilty to 3 counts of first-degree molestation plus a charge of violating a protective order for trying to contact one of the victims while he was in jail. Chelan County Superior Court Judge Robert Jordan imposed the sentence, which was recommended by both the prosecutors and McGrady's defense attorney. Sheriff's deputies arrested McGrady after a child disclosed allegations of sexual abuse to a school counselor. A registered sex offender in Manson who admitted to illicitly contacting teenagers on Snapchat is now suspected of committing rape against a 16-year-old victim. 27-year-old Bernardino Dwight Hamilton, he was arrested back on January 5th on 5 charges of communicating with a minor for immoral purposes. Police say Hamilton admitted using a smartphone to contact multiple teenage girls in 2021 while he was on probation for a guilty plea he entered in 2019 to 2 counts of child molestation. One of those victims told Chelan County Sheriff's deputies Hamilton sexually assaulted her on 3 occasions in December after arranging to meet her through Snapchat. Investigators are seeking new charges against Hamilton of 3rd-degree rape. He is still being held at the Chelan County Jail. A retired Chelan PE teacher was cleared Wednesday of a charge of child molestation, which had been hanging over his head since 2019. Chelan County prosecutors had charged Jack Leroy Rutter, who's now 72 years old, with sexually abusing a Morgan Owings Elementary student during a physical education class around 2010 based on an allegation that the student made to sheriff's deputies 9 years later. But Rutter's attorney, Brandon Riedel, found contradictory evidence, including statements from eyewitnesses. Prosecutors agreeing yesterday to dismiss the charges.
What I would say is that there was a very limited investigation that was undertaken by law enforcement. I just think that there were a lot of red flags that I don't know if they were ignored or if they just weren't seen. But the one thing that the public should be able to rely upon is that law enforcement will take a serious accusation like this and actually investigate it fully and fairly, instead of charging someone and fundamentally altering their life, regardless of what the ultimate outcome is, and then sort of figuring it out later.
Moses Lake Police apparently interrupted a catalytic converter theft in progress. This happened yesterday morning. Police say they spotted two people under a car in a parking lot on Valley Road. They were using a saw apparently to remove the catalytic converter. 32-year-old Brian A. Smith and 33-year-old Raisa Sorleen allegedly tried to flee on foot. They didn't make it very far. Smith remained jailed this week on charges of second-degree theft, malicious mischief, and resisting arrest. Sorleen booked but has yet to be charged. A vehicle the two were allegedly using also impounded. Moses Lake Police say they're conducting proactive patrols to head off catalytic converter theft before it happens. Staying out of the Columbia Basin, police in Moses Lake say an investigation into an illegal fentanyl traffic operation netted a huge arrest over the weekend. 38-year-old Dustin Wayne Duville is jailed and charged with felonies, including drug possession with intent to sell, for allegedly carrying more than half a pound of fentanyl capsules and 4 ounces of fentanyl in powder form in his vehicle. Police say the traffic stop, which led to DeVille's arrest, also found 8 ounces of methamphetamine. A subsequent search warrant on a home and a storage unit tied to him allegedly recovered 2 illegal firearms and a stolen motorcycle. Chelan County has a new policy now on how it reaches out to the public via social media. County commissioners approved the plan on Tuesday. It guides employees' use of Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube when they communicate on behalf of the county to the public. It also regulates when the county can block users or remove their comments on social media posts. It also bars Chelan County employees from acting in the county's name through their own personal social media accounts. County staffers who manage official accounts have to attend educational meetings 4 times a year to brush up on their social media practices. 'Tis the season for rock slides on 97A, and of course they had a bunch of them over the weekend, so it's unplanned, but they're doing some rock scaling work this week. They started that work yesterday. It'll run through the rest of the week and should help dislodge slabs and loose rock that might otherwise fall unexpectedly. Of course, we had that one big rock fall on Sunday that closed 97A for about an hour. The Washington Department of Transportation says a contractor will be at work from 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. each day this week through Friday. Travelers near milepost 220, you can expect delays of up to 20 minutes during those hours. And you're in the loop on what's already been a busy news day, and we're barely got the coffee warm. We'll have the news for you again, as we always do, Monday through Friday at 5, 6, and 10, plus on our YouTube page or Facebook page and on our website. With the preview, the anchor, Grant Olson.
Good morning, Dan. Coming up tonight on the NCW Life Evening News, we will bring you our weekly Pause for Pets feature with the Wenatchee Valley Humane Society. Dry and warmer today before we see a bit of a cool down on Friday. I'll have all the details in your complete North Central Washington weather forecast. And in sports, Eric Granstrom will take a look at what's on tap tonight in high school basketball, and we'll preview the big wrestling match between Wenatchee and Sunnyside. That and all the day's news stories coming your way tonight at 5, 6, and 10 on the NCW Life Evening News. We hope to see you then. Dan?
Appreciate it, Grant. Got a news tip? Want to reach out and say hi? Go to our Facebook page and use the Messenger app. Email us directly, news@ncwlife.com, or contact us via our homepage. When we come back, sports, the obscure holiday. Today in history, some celebrity birthdays and opinion from Mike Mad Dog Mignotti, and we'll get to know the folks who are trying to keep invasive species in our area, both insects and plants, from doing any more damage than they already have. A fascinating film still to come as well. You're watching a Thursday edition of Wake Up Wenatchee Valley on the NCW Live channel. When your heating or cooling system is giving you trouble, call the Diagnostic Doctor from Dick's Heating and Air Conditioning.
Here's the culprit right here.
All joking aside, when you call Dick's, you're calling 35 years of experience at customer service right here in the Wenatchee Valley. Dick's strongly believes in repairing before replacing, and they service all major brands of HVAC units. Minutes after the hour, you got to forgive the Seattle Kraken if they're a little jet lagged. That's why they've lost probably their last two games, a little punky. Check out that map that Eric put together. Over the span of 16 days, the Kraken played 9 games in 9 cities, spending over 24 hours on an airplane to get to all those places. Had it been on a bus, that adds up to about 8,000 miles, considering what they accomplished on the road trip. It's not surprising that, of course, they've lost their last couple of games at home and in Edmonton.
It's time to hit the road and time to embrace the challenge from Rogers Place in Edmonton as the Seattle Kraken take on the Edmonton Oilers.
High slot, Beniers, tipped in! Jaden Schwartz scores! Yanni Gard! Right place, right time! That's Kraken hockey, baby. It's a 5-2 win here in Edmonton.
Game site, boys. You can see when we're the hungry team out there, we're tough to beat. So let's bring that every night.
Seattle heads east to Toronto, Ontario to take on the Maple Leafs and a couple of familiar faces.
Out to center, breakaway. Jared McCann is in. He scores! That's hockey, baby. Bjorkstrand, a shot. He scores! What a bullet! Oliver Bjorkstrand.
On the back door, Ellie Tolvanen scores!
What a stop by Jones a couple of times. My goodness. Schultz out in front. They score! Across. Grubauer says no! A couple of times.
Now the toughest test of the season lay ahead for Seattle over these next 60 minutes.
To the goal line. It's tipped in. Brandon Tanev. Pasternak. Stopped by Jones.
The Seattle Kraken hand the Boston Bruins their first loss at home.
Drops it off for McCann with 2. Make it 3. Hat trick. Jared McCann. That's Kraken hockey, baby. They make history, and it's an 8-5 win over Chicago.
But they have dropped their last couple. They get to rest, sleep in their own bed, and let's see if they can get another one going here tonight. The Devils are in town, Climate Pledge Arena. They'll drop the puck at 7 on Root Sports Northwest. By the way, this is the first of 5 consecutive home games before the All-Star break. As the offseason commences for the Seattle Seahawks, the business of the NFL kicks in. Seattle signing kicker Jason Myers to a 4-year extension yesterday. It's reportedly worth $21.1 million. He's coming off his best season. He was 34 of 37 on field goals, and he led the NFL in scoring. He was also selected to his second Pro Bowl. Still, they got 26 other free agents. What are they going to do with Geno Smith, Drew Lock, Rashard Penny, Ryan Neal, Cody Barton? We'll just have to wait and see. The Washington State Cougar men's basketball team begins a 2-game stint in Utah and Colorado tonight. Coach Kyle Smith was asked about the home court advantage for these mountain schools because they play in high altitude.
I couldn't tell you. I know that I think altitude is actually one of the biggest, according to the Ken Palm, one of the biggest advantages in college basketball. So home court advantage, I think Colorado has a tremendous home court advantage over the years because of it. Luckily, we got a little altitude where I think we're at 2,500 feet, so it shouldn't affect us as much as maybe some others. And then they just got good programs. Utah's got a great history of, you can get there pretty good. And Tad Boyle's been there 13 years now, and he's got a good program. And I remember playing there before when they've had, different coaches and stuff. And it was when they were really good in football, when they're like, and there was no atmosphere at their games, and they still had an advantage. But now they've done a nice job. They get people. There's some noise in there. There's band. They draw pretty well, a lot better than they used to. So both of them can have a good home environment too.
Wazoo and Utah, they'll tip off at 6 o'clock tonight. Your other 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock tonight. Prior to that, Eastern plays at 5 o'clock against Northern Colorado. You can watch that on ESPN Plus. I can't. I don't have it. Washington faces Colorado on the road at 6 on ESPNU. I don't have that either. 6th-ranked Gonzaga is home against Loyola Marymount at 6 o'clock. As far as the ladies are concerned, they're morning games today. That's right. Number 16 Gonzaga will be at Pacific at 11 a.m. this morning. That's also the same time that Eastern Washington will host Northern Colorado. In the meantime, Haley Van Lith and her Louisville Cardinals are at home this afternoon at 4 o'clock against Boston College on the ACC network. Coming up in high school basketball tonight, your schedule. Chelan will host Quincy at 5:45 in girls basketball at 6 o'clock. You got Pateros at Antioch. Cascade Christian visits Riverside Christian. Republic will host Oroville. There are only 3 games on the boys' schedule. Quincy travels to Chelan at 7:15. At 7:30, you got Pateros at Antioch and Cascade Christian at Riverside Christian. High school wrestling tonight at Wenatchee High School. You got one team that's one of the best in the state and another team that wants to be one of the best in the state. The Sunnyside Grizzlies have finished second at MAC Classic the past couple of years. 8 out of their 11 placers from last year are still with the team. They are the defending Big 9 league champions. They're 4-0 so far this year. Wenatchee, 15th in last year's MAC Classic. They had 3 wrestlers place with Evan Burdan, the only returner. He finished 3rd at state last year. The Panthers are also 4-0 in league this year, and the 2 teams will meet tonight. This is going to be fun. We'll be at the Wenatchee High School Gymnasium at 7 o'clock. We'll have it live on our Facebook page with Eric and his dad, Dave, calling the game. Then we'll air it on TV later tonight following Wenatchee Wild Hockey. The rest of the wrestling schedule. Double duel in Quincy. The Jackrabbits will take on Omak at 6. Chelan will wrestle Cashmere. And then at 7, it's Quincy and Cashmere, and Chelan takes on Omak. Eastmont's on the road tonight at Eisenhower at 7 o'clock, in Moses Lake visits Davis. Our schedule broadcasting-wise, you know about wrestling tonight. We'll be back at Wenatchee High School tomorrow night for a basketball doubleheader between the Panthers and the West Valley Rams. Girls start at 5:45, the boys at 7:30. Then on Saturday, we'll be back there again. They might as well just give us keys. Wenatchee will host Moses Lake. Girls at 4:45, boys at 6:30. Eric and Grant on the call. And those are just some of the games that people are playing at 22 minutes after the hour. The Obscura Holiday, it's a food-related one. I try to avoid it, but sometimes you just can't. And besides, who doesn't love popcorn? It's National Popcorn Day on January 19th. The origin of why it's on January 19th is unknown. Most people, I'm one of them, think it probably has something to do with the Super Bowl. You know, a lot of people will watch the Super Bowl, which is a registered trademark of the National Football League, all rights reserved, with a big, buttery bowl of salted popcorn. Popcorn's actually good for you, just in its natural popped state. We put butter and salt on it and pretty much offset whatever is good for you. Fun facts about popcorn. I got them for you, folks. Americans will eat about 17 billion quarts of popcorn this year. That's a lot. Nebraska grows about a quarter of all the popcorn that is consumed in the world. That's a lot. It's about 250 million pounds of just popcorn, not corn, just popcorn. Nebraska grows a quarter of all the popcorn that is consumed anywhere. If you have unpopped popcorn, I don't care what kind it is, Orville Redenbacher or whatever, don't store it in the refrigerator. If you store it in the refrigerator, the cold will suck the moisture out of the kernels and they won't pop very well. You want to store unopened cans or jars of popcorn in your kitchen cupboard. Under those kind of conditions, they'll pop a lot better than that. Approximately 70% of all the popcorn that is consumed in this country, you're eating at home. The other 30% at movies or sporting events or the county fair or what have you, that kind of deal. A lot of businesses failed during the Great Depression, but the popcorn industry exploded, pardon the pun, because for a lot of people, they could afford it. A bag of popcorn was only about a nickel, and for a lot of people, that was the only food they ever got was popcorn. So it was affordable for families who weren't making it happen during the Great Depression. Popcorn, that's when it really took off in popularity. Popcorn, can't go wrong with it. Especially popcorn made at home in a big Dutch oven, and then you can put as much butter or salt or least amount on it as you possibly want. Happy National Popcorn Day today. Not a big fan of the microwave popcorn. They're better than they used to be, but it still doesn't do it. Not the real deal. 25 minutes after the hour. Today in history, the Lodz Ghetto in Poland was liberated by the Soviet forces at the tail end of World War II on this date of 1945. The Lodz Ghetto in Poland, just a walled-off part of the city. And, of course, the inhabitants there, almost all of them, Polish Jews spent most of the war making munitions for the Nazis. At the height of its population in 1939, there were about 245,000 people who lived in the Lodz ghetto itself. By the time that the Soviets liberated the Lodz ghetto on this date in 1945, there were 877 left. Most of them have been shipped off to concentration camps. One of the very first examples of America gathering around the television for a communal watching experience. 70 years ago today, January 19th, 1953, the episode I Love Lucy, entitled Lucy Gives Birth, airs on national television. It was a Monday. 74% of all televisions in this country, about 44 million people, watched the episode as Lucy gives birth to Ricky Jr., January 19th, 1953. The same day in Los Angeles, Lucy actually gave birth to Ricky Jr. It was cesarean section. You talk about timing. So 12 hours before it was broadcast, Lucy gave birth to the actual baby, and then the episode aired that night. By the way, the episode was filmed on November 12th of 1952. It aired on this date 70 years ago today. Another one of those head-scratching wars 49 years ago today. January 19th, 1974, China gains control over the Paracel Islands. The Paracel Islands, it was a brief military engagement with the South Vietnamese, the People's Republic of China, the South Vietnamese, and Taiwan all claim the Paracel Islands for themselves. They all say, we own the Paracel Islands. China actually does control the Paracel Islands. The Paracel Islands is a group of islands that if you took all the land mass together, it comes up to about 3 square miles. And the only things that live there are seagulls and turtles. And that's it. And they went to war over this. They do that in the Far East 49 years ago today. And it all came to an end after 444 days, the 52 American hostages. The deal was done. It took weeks and weeks of negotiation by the outgoing Carter administration. The incoming Reagan administration had nothing to do with it, but they did it. The United States and Iranian officials signed the official formal agreement to release the 52 American hostages. The 4 key points in the official communique that made it official: the U.S. would not interfere with Iranian domestic or military affairs. Didn't quite do that. But the other 3 kind of panned out. The U.S. would remove the freeze on Iranian assets and bank accounts in this country. Both countries would formally end litigation between the 2 countries, and Iran would pay their debts to the U.S., and the hostages are free. Remember that day. Birthdays at 28 minutes after the hour. Edgar Allan Poe. I read a fascinating essay this morning in the Washington Post of Edgar Allan Poe's brief stay at West Point. He was in the Army. He was fast-tracked to become a great Army officer. It didn't quite happen, so he turned to poetry. He is America's greatest short story writer, poet, and critic, and he died at the age of 40 in 1849. He was born in this state, Edgar Allan Poe, in 1809. This will make you feel old. Janis Joplin would have been 80 years old today. She, of course, is a member of the 27 Club, died of a heroin overdose in 1970 at the age of 27. Thank goodness the music lives on. The great Janis Joplin, born in the state in 1943. Dolly is still with us, thank goodness. Dolly Parton, inducted this year into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. She's been in the Country Music Hall of Fame for about 25 years now. 25 #1 songs on the Billboard Country charts, tied with Reba McEntire for the most #1 songs by a female artist on the Billboard Country charts, and she's doing great. Dolly, 77 years old today. And my favorite South Korean pole vaulter, Kim Yusuk. Kim Yusuk, the pole vaulter from South Korea, is 41 years old today. I just love January 19th birthdays. Gonna take a break. Got an opinion from Mike Mad Dog McNaughty, and then a number in a series of short films provided to us from TVW. The umbrella title is Field Report, and on this film, and you're going to like this a lot, you're going to learn about how local and state officials are combating invasive species. not only insects, but plants as well that aren't supposed to be here. And they are. And they're wreaking havoc. What they're doing to combat that, you're going to learn about it when we come back. You're watching Wake Up in Wenatchee Valley on the NCW Life channel.
Come on, I'm a certified technician. I was trained to take good care of you.
9. I've only been to the dealer.
I've been coming here for years. These guys are great.
Look around. The BMW, the Jag, the Volvo, they're all waiting for regular service. Well, the BMW has a little computer issue, but that's nothing we can't handle. Come on in.
From regular maintenance to computer troubleshooting, trust the Global Car Care technicians with your import, diesel-powered, or domestic vehicle. Global Car Care. They speak your car's language.
Dankeschön.
Welcome to Bubbly by Cake Chick, where friends come to relax and reconnect. Enjoy delicious lunches, decadent desserts, classic champagne, and bourbon tastings. Make every day an occasion when you join friends at Bubbly by Cake Chick on Riverside Drive in Wenatchee.
If you are looking for dependable car service and repair, visit the good guys at Quick Lube and Tune. They've been keeping cars and trucks in the Wenatchee Valley running smooth for 35 years. Quick Lube and Tune is your hometown shop for a 10-minute oil change, complete tune-ups, alignments, brakes, mufflers, air conditioning service, and more. Get more life out of your vehicle by bringing it to the local guys you can trust at Quick Lube and Tune on South Wenatchee Avenue.
Badger Mountain Brewery is your cure for boredom. Jam Night Mondays. Trivia Wednesdays. Live Music Fridays. And Sunday Brunch. There's always something brewing at Badger Mountain, so come join the party.
Happiest New Year's wishes from the staff at Collins Fashions. You have truly blessed us with your support, and we appreciate you one and all. These last few years have been challenging, but North Central Washington is resilient and generous. We are also thankful for our fabulous vendors like Brighton, Joseph Ribkoff, Tribal, Charlie B, Habitat, Spanx, Jag Jeans Cut, Liverpool, Shoes and Boots from Fly London, Soft and Bueno. Collins Fashions is here to serve you, and we wish you every blessing in the new year.
Spring is more than just a time to clean. It's your time to renew, recharge, and spend time with the people you love. At Merry Maids, our cleaning services go beyond the basic services and provide you with a comprehensive clean that will re-energize your home and enhance your life. From everyday routine cleaning or deep cleanings, Merry Maids professional team members can provide you with an unrivaled experience. Call Merry Maids to schedule your cleaning today.
Bring the whole family up to Stormy Mountain Brewing and local public house in historic downtown Chelan. Applewood smoked brisket, street-style tacos, and our award-winning barbecue rubs and sauces. Our meals pair perfectly with our exciting lineup of craft ales, made right here in Chelan. We've got room for big groups, or give us a call for catering. So grab the kids and check out the fun at Stormy Mountain Brewing and local public house located in the heart of Chelan.
Wenatchee Valley, it's winter clearance time at Collins Fashions. Savings of up to 30 to 50% off on coats, vests, boots, sweaters, jeans, PJs, etc., etc. Great brands like Joseph Ribkoff, Tribal, Charlie B, French Dressing, Soft, and Fly London boots. Any item with a red tag or a red check is on sale. We have amazing gifts for Valentine's from Brighton, Spokane Chocolates, candles from Veluspa and Capri Blue. Great selection and awesome service at Collins in downtown Wenatchee.
Introducing Alpine Airman. Because every home needs a superhero to eliminate poor indoor air quality, send inefficient operating equipment packing, and cut high energy bills down to size. For heating or cooling and equipment replacement, turn to the experts and the superheroes at Carrier and Alpine Air. We offer the best deals on high-efficiency Carrier products, along with friendly, knowledgeable service and incredible savings to fit your budget.
Tiki Hawaiian Barbecue, family owned and operated on North Wenatchee Avenue, right next to Hooked on Toys. Tiki Hawaiian Barbecue uses only fresh ingredients, handcrafted with love, including authentic Hawaiian barbecue and Japanese-style ramen noodle soups. And the bubble teas will keep you coming back for more. Enjoy the culinary tour of the Pacific Rim with Hawaiian barbecue lunches and combo plate classics, as well as ramen noodle soups. Tiki Hawaiian Barbecue. Enjoy their comfort food like you're one of the family.
This is Mike Mad Dog Magnati, and everybody is entitled to my opinion. So, recently a local, let's call them an organization, was teaching young boys to be real men, shooting guns, fording rivers, carrying heavy logs, you know, that macho stuff. And okay, really, I don't have too much problem with some of that, okay? Within reason, a man can raise his son any way he sees fit, but are we teaching our sons that strength and toughness are really qualities of the mind and the heart? Are we teaching them to be respectful of women and not to be abusive? I mean, it's fine if you want your son to be physically tough and be able to properly handle a firearm. Yeah, it really is. But are we raising our sons to be the type of men that we want our daughters to meet and marry? That's the question. This is Mike Mad Dog Magnati, and that's my opinion.
At Local Myth Pizza, we believe in real food, freshly prepared with only premium ingredients. Our cheeses are imported from Italy. Our sauces, dressings, and even our sausages are made in-house fresh daily. Featuring Northwest craft beers and 30 Chelan Valley wines and ciders. Family fun and amazing food. Eat local, drink local, and be local at Local Myth Pizza.
Come see why Sunset Magazine says you can't beat Local Myth Pizza.
Are you frustrated because you feel like you aren't getting the internet speeds you pay for? One of the most common ways to test your internet connection is called a speed test. These are free and easily located on the internet and can tell you how fast your internet is. However, for certain reasons, these tests may not always be accurate. A speed test shows you how fast a file can be downloaded to the computer you're running the test on. However, there are many things that can affect the speed of that download besides the speed of the internet going into your home. A few of the things that can affect your internet speed are poor Wi-Fi signal, other wireless signals interfering with the wireless signals coming from your router, other devices in your home draining your bandwidth, your computer or phone running apps programs in the background that you aren't aware of, slowing your entire device. Any of these things can slow down your internet. Your internet is like water flowing down a pipe. There's a big pipe bringing internet to your local area, and a smaller pipe coming off of that bringing internet to your home address. Your router is just another pipe that brings the internet inside your house, and every device inside your home is like a pipe connected to the router. Just like with water, if any of those pipes along the way are too small for the amount of internet that needs to flow through for a family, the flow for everything down the line will be much slower. It's a lot like trying to push all the water going into your house through a small straw. Also, again, just like with water, if everyone in your home is using the internet at once, any individual device may not be able to receive the full flow of the internet. It's like your whole family trying to drink out of that small straw all at once. If you're struggling with internet that is slower than expected, make sure that all of the devices that your internet flows through are working correctly, and check all devices in your home for background programs that may be using the internet. If everything still appears to be working correctly, contact us and we'll be able to help.
You've got a lot to do today. While you're out and about, remember to dispose of your unused medications safely and anonymously. It's a simple act that makes your home a safer place. Next time you're at the pharmacy, Just place them in the drop box. To find a location, visit medproject.org.
Nestled among the snow-capped hilltops and glacier-fed waters is Lake Chelan, the perfect place to experience Washington's winter wonderland. Join us for Winterfest and be amazed by intricate ice sculptures, 2 spectacular fireworks shows, sample world-class wine, and the infamous ice bar. Enjoy live music, ice slide, and polar bear plunge. There's something for everyone during Winterfest across both downtown Chelan and Manson. Visit lakechelan.com for more info.
We were in Roseburg in the early 80s. Our oldest son, Dan, was a defensive back, a starter on that team. They in fact, became Oregon State champions, setting the first undefeated 14-0 season in Oregon's history. And a lot of people were losing jobs. Friends had left the community. It was a hard time. That football team and companies like Abby's kept that place alive and the community spirit alive. That's legendary.
With all the variety on SureStream TV from LocalTel, there's always something to watch. But what if you hit the couch in the middle of all the shows? That's a perfect time to use the features Catch Up or Restart. Catch up on shows from up to 3 days ago, or restart your show from the beginning. Go to your guide and select the show to restart. Then play, pause, rewind on your schedule. Don't forget, SureStream TV from LocalTel lets you decide when shows begin.
1989, I moved here in July. My dad farmed, my brother's still on the family farm. I worked for a dealer in Lewiston, Idaho. I was his general sales manager. My boss goes, I got a guy that may be ready for a store. We made one trip here, and that's how I ended up here. I'd never been here in my life, and I had no friends here. I have nothing, you know. I do now. I have a lot of friends here. I mean, this is my home. I love living here.
At D.A. Davidson in Wenatchee, they believe your investment success begins with a personalized plan. A plan that is the roadmap you need to navigate your way to living your best years in retirement. D.A. Davidson can help you create a plan so you can take the time to enjoy the finer things in life. Let the financial advisors at D.A. Davidson help chart your retirement future today.
The red-spotted newt has been popping up in the area. They don't belong here, and researchers are worried they could harm the ecosystem.
Invasive bugs that aren't supposed to be in Washington, specifically the emerald ash borer, the spotted lanternfly, or the Asian longhorn beetle.
The hits just keep on coming for Asian giant hornets. The Washington State Department of Agriculture has found a third nest since the species, dubbed the murder hornet, was detected in the U.S. last year.
Invasive species. It's a major concern that hits home to many of Washington's farm and landowners. But thanks to an appointed group of experts, they won't be able to make a home where they don't belong. In this field report, we dive into details. And explore the work of the state's Invasive Species Council. This is Justin Bush.
Invasive species, whether they're plants or animals or pathogens, they don't respect administrative boundaries, so they don't really care if they're on someone's property or another. They typically spread across a landscape.
He heads the state's Invasive Species Council, a group tasked and funded by the legislature to manage and eradicate invasive species, or those that have yet to cause some serious damage to Washington's human, agriculture, and aquatic population.
Our number one goal is prevention, so to keep invasive species from coming to North America or coming to Washington or spreading within Washington.
In 2006, the legislature created the council to improve how state agencies work together in managing invasive species. Since then, the council has identified hundreds of species found in or near Washington that pose major and costly impacts to the state.
Essentially, we set the compass for all organizations through our statewide strategy. We try to mobilize the whole community, all different partners, to do things in one comprehensive way, because that's the only way we can be effective.
Up until 2006, the state did not have an organized forum that specifically tackled invasive species. Today, the council serves that purpose, coordinating state and regional efforts to prevent any unwanted species from coming into our borders and eradicating those that do.
When we come up with our strategies, we look at the distribution as well as the impacts and what we can do to stop it, and it's kind of a balance.
They focus on leadership and research and come up with mitigation strategies and public outreach, which include campaigns that inform Washingtonians on how to prevent the introduction and spread of these species.
The council is the only place in Washington where we look at the whole problem and look across all agencies that are damaged and have a nexus to this. There's always something you don't expect. There's always a new species, always a new pathway or gap that we identify.
And to prepare themselves for the arrival of new species, they get ahead by implementing new strategies for early detection, as well as a response and eradication plan.
We have new problems. We have Asian giant hornet being introduced to Whatcom County. We have agricultural pests now showing up in the Yakima area, European green crab on the coast, northern pike in the middle of the state. So there are old problems that we're resolving, but there's new problems on the horizon. It's really important that we work together across all types of organizations to be effective.
Senate Bill 5063. The Secretary will read.
During the 2021 legislative session, lawmakers agreed to extend the life and funding of the council until 2032. This allows them to continue the work they've already started.
The title of the bill will be the title of the act.
The council's expiration date has only been extended every 5 years. Senator Jim Honeyford, who sponsored that legislation, explains why this time it's different.
Well, I believe the legislature is a little hesitant to make a permanent agency, another permanent agency, so that's why it has specified life. If it's doing good work and we see the need, then we will extend it. Well, I believe that there's still work for them to do, and so we need to have them around.
He also believes the work of the council will keep certain invasive species out of our coasts, such as the quagga and zebra mussels, which, he shares, currently pose the greatest threat to Washington's waters.
Those would plug up the turbines on our dams. If they get into our rivers, they'd plug up diversions for municipal water and irrigation water, really create havoc and cost millions and millions of dollars if we don't keep them out.
Bush shares how, through the council's work and state funding, they're able to avoid that.
Our Washington Department of Fish and Wildlife has already found over 20 boats that have been infested with invasive mussels just this year. They would have recreational damages, they would have agricultural damages, they would impact water quality and fisheries and habitat, and they also could impact human health through changing the water quality as well. We work with the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service. They're doing research as well as planning. We work with the Pacific States Marine Fisheries Commission. They take funding from the federal government and then distribute to the states for watercraft inspections.
And with the recent resurgence of Asian giant hornets in Whatcom County, the council has also been working closely with the State Department of Agriculture.
The Invasive Species Council actually received the very first report and forwarded that on to us. They continue to help us a lot with outreach and education about Asian giant hornets. They're a fantastic partner. They bring us all together so we're all on the same page. We support one another in our efforts for outreach, education, even responses, so that we can have a coordinated and effective response to invasive species. Not every state has that.
Over at Blaine, where the most recent sightings of Asian giant hornets were reported, entomologist Chris Looney is busy at work in training the agency staff on trapping and eradicating the hornets.
Our mission, our goal of trying to prevent exotic pests, either of the ecosystems or human agriculture and human endeavors from establishing, really relies on early detection, like finding them right when they get here, getting to where they are, and figuring out a way to eliminate them.
He says the council helps organize funds and coordinate the work between them and other groups.
A statewide eradication campaign is hard to run. A lot-level eradication campaign can actually occur, and that's where our coordination with the Invasive Species Council, their ability to connect to lots of different Washingtonian lives, really pays off. In particular, their public outreach is really, really beneficial. That's millions of eyes in Washington, on the ground, on their eaves, on the trees.
And that targeted outreach, he says, is where their joint effort with the council proves to be most useful.
One of the things we do specifically that maybe some of the other agencies don't is provide really specific information about insects, insect pests. That's our bailiwick. And then the Washington Invasive Species Council can use that information to help inform and target their activities and the activities of other agencies or the public.
Among the council's public campaigns are Clean, Drain, Dry, where Puddles, the resident mussel-sniffing dog, encourages boat owners to prevent aquatic invasive species from spreading, and Don't Pack a Pest, where the council works with the U.S. Customs and Border Protection to prevent travelers from bringing invasive insects, plants, or pathogens back home. The council has also developed a smartphone app called Washington Invasives, where the public can report sightings and submit photos of what might be invasive species. It also has a digital guide on invasive plants and animals. Years ago, the council discovered feral swine released into the Gifford-Pinchot National Forest. With the help of the phone app and their Squeal on Pigs phone hotline, they were able to receive tips and take quick action.
Through that response of doing the investigation, we found the pigs. Some were lethally removed, others were captured and removed. And then we did monitoring to ensure that we had got them all. The National Forest System is almost like a highway between British Columbia, Washington, and Oregon. So there could have been feral swine really in the heart of the Pacific Northwest.
Thanks to the council's collaboration with the state's Department of Agriculture and the Department of Fish and Wildlife, Washington is currently free of feral swine.
Those pigs are not rooting in our wetlands, they're not rooting along our rivers, which then would make dirt slough off into the water, which would be bad for salmon and other things that we value.
Sometimes the origin of invasive species comes from previously domesticated animals released into the wild. And that, Bush says, is when unwanted pets turn into pests.
It's bad for two reasons. They may not be adapted to our climate and might die a slow death, starving or in the cold in the winter, which is no good. And if they do persist, they might start impacting our wildlife and things that we value, and then we would consider them to be an invasive species. Down in the Columbia River Gorge, they actually found 8 boa constrictors in a city park. Someone is believed to have owned them as pets, no longer wanted them, released them into the city park. Invasive snakes are a huge problem in the Everglades, for example, and they would prey on wildlife, which we definitely wouldn't want in Washington. We've created this campaign called Don't Let It Loose, as well as some resources like an interactive map of pet stores, veterinary clinics, and rescue centers around the state that have volunteered to help rehome unwanted pets.
Controlling invasive species comes at a cost of over $25 million every 2 years. A preemptive effort to avoid what would be a devastating economic loss for the state. Cordgrass, for instance, could cause a deficit of over $48 million to the shellfish industry. Invasive apple maggots, if not controlled, would cost the state over $390 million, while zebra and quagga mussels would impact water infrastructure and recreation at a cost of over $100 million annually. The council is grateful that with the support of the legislature, they'll be able to keep Washington safe for yet another decade.
We now will have 10 years to work together to implement a statewide strategy. And we have been effective because the council has been reauthorized every 5 years to date. It shows the commitment of the legislature in the state to stopping invasive species and preventing invasive species.
And state agencies say it would benefit their research and operations.
Some of these projects take a long time. This hornet business, we will be doing this for at least 3 years from the day we no longer catch any more hornets. That's a difficult time frame to work within if your funding expires at every single year. It provides a lot of security and the ability to execute long-term goals rather than responding to the whims of now.
As for the next 10 years, the legislature is hopeful that the council will be able to keep the state free of the potential harm brought both by existing and upcoming invasive species.
There are always new developments and means of controlling invasive species, and so the council, I believe, keeps on top of that and promoting.
For Field Report, this is Angela Nolasco.
If you could live anywhere, where would it be? And what would it be like? With today's home values, this is the perfect time to sell and make those dreams real. When you work with a world-class agent at Coldwell Banker, you benefit from trusted guidance and our revolutionary Seller's Assurance program to make your home sale more rewarding than ever. So it really is true. Your dreams don't have to be just dreams.
Blue Lagoon Pool and Spa end of the year blowout sale is going on now. Spas are scientifically proven to improve sleep and ease arthritis pain. Let us help you find the perfect spa today. Blue Lagoon Pool and Spa is helping families reconnect, one hot tub at a time.
Hey everyone, Fletcher and Amy Ellington here from Live It Up. In the investment world, ROI stands for Return on Investment. Well, how does better health, better wealth, and better relationships sound for ROI? Join us every week right here on NCW Life and learn how to invest in the most important asset, you.
We're going to answer your questions and provide some weekly inspiration so you can create a life that you love. Join us on Live It Up.
Couple minutes to go before this program is put to bed on this Thursday edition of Wake Up Wenatchee Valley. I am Dan Kuntz. We're going to take you out to the scene of the two-car fatality accident. We understand now, according to the Washington State Patrol. Sorry about the shaky camera footage. That's a long way away from our Omi Garden camera that's pointing towards this accident. Again, this happened at about 5:45 this morning at milepost 135 on Highway 2/97. That, of course, is on the Douglas County side of the river, not too far from Turtle Rock. We understand it is a fatality situation now. They're trying to get one of the lanes opened, but authorities are asking people to avoid that area altogether. Again, milepost 135 on the Douglas County side of the river near Turtle Rock. We'll have the latest on this, obviously, throughout the course of the day today and the news tonight at 5, 6, and 10. If you're traveling near the mountain passes on Saturday, quick heads up, you're going to be dealing with some winter driving conditions. Light but consistent snow throughout the course of the day in the mountain passes on Saturday. especially on Stevens Pass. Not really so much on Snoqualmie and probably none on Blewett. Not a big dumping of snow, but just enough to make it winter driving conditions. As far as we're here locally from Apple Valley Honda and the National Weather Service, sunshine today and a high of 38 degrees, 25 the overnight low tonight. Clear skies means lots of sunshine on Friday, but not quite as warm with a high of 34. We cloud up a little bit on Saturday and right back to the sunshine on Sunday. And that is it for us. Have a great Thursday. We'll see you tomorrow. Take care. Bye-bye.